Good morning from Banyuls-sur-Mer, the penultimate station in France, and I'm waiting for the 9:24 train to Port Bou, the first station in Spain. The ticket office isn't open yet, so I'm going to have to grapple with the ticket vending machine. A passing Frenchman has just shouted "Scotland" to me. Nice to be welcomed. Ah, vous êtes de Carcassonne?
Oui, né à Carcassonne, à côté Minervois.
Minervois.
Oui.
Ah, beaucoup de vin de Minervois.
Oui. Alors vous allez demander l'indépendance, Scotland? Indépendance?
Indépendance?
Oui, Scotland? Non.
To aim le Celtic, oui?
Oui, Celtic.
Je suis un supporter de Celtic.
Ah.
The Frenchman on the platform I've just been talking to informed me that Celtic of Glasgow won the European Champions League in 1967. I'm impressed that he was able to come out with that little snippet of information, which is perfectly true. Celtic were the first British team to win the European Cup. Well, she's arrived and is in the process of opening the ticket office, and the train is shown as being on time. This is amazing because the Frenchman who told me without prompting that Celtic won the European Cup in 1967 has also just walked up to me and recited the names of all the players, Lennox, Murdoch and so on. I find it amazing that a Frenchman, without prompting, can recite the names of all the players of a team who won the European Cup in 1967. So I've got my ticket and a reminder to compost it. Yeah, a rather quaint system of composting the tickets. There's something that still excites me about buying tickets and waiting for a train. Because I'm over 60, I got a discounted ticket, €1.80, to go from here to Port Bou. Off-peak tickets only. And here comes the train. I like these trains, they're very nice. And there's the sea there. Destination Port Bou. And we have a special seat there for little small groups to sit. Oh, and here comes the controller. I better get my ticket ready. You get a good view of the Mediterranean from these trains. Imagine waking up to this on the sleeper from Paris.
Prochain arrêt, Cerbere.
And we're just approaching Cerbere, the last station in France. The train waits here for about 10 minutes and the police are supposed to check the train. So let's see what happens. Well, the French police have just checked the train, but they didn't pay any attention to me. One has to admire the seats on SNCF, much better than the dross that the Department of Transport give us in Britain. And into the tunnel we go. Goodbye, France. Au revoir, bonjour. And here we are emerging into Spain. Bon dia, which is good day in Catalan. The track next to me is Spanish gauge. There are two tracks through the tunnel, one standard gauge and one Spanish gauge. And the freight yards are not as busy as they used to be. And now we're rolling into the SNCF platform at Port Bou. And this is the SNCF platform at Port Bou. Now there's supposed to be a police check here, let's see what happens. There's a few Spanish policemen about. Okay.
La policía tiene que borrarlo.
Sí, es un tren para Francia, sí.
Ok, pero cuando la policía no esté, tú haces fotos sin problema.
Ah, antes sale de la policía.
Eso, la policía no foto.
And here's the queue at the Renfe ticket office for tickets to Spain. But the Spanish police have all disappeared. I like that, an SNCF man explaining to a young man how to operate the Renfe ticket machine. That's interesting. If you want to go to Cerbere, there's a Renfe train at 10:01 and the SNCF train goes back at 10:05, so you can choose. But I know which I would choose because you can jump on the SNCF train without a ticket, there being no SNCF ticket office here. And here's the SNCF train departing for Perpignan. And until a couple of years ago you couldn't board the SNCF trains here, they rolled back empty to Cerbere, which made the connections were sometimes a little bit inconvenient. Bye bye Spain, they're off to France. A very impressive station is Port Bou, and that's the Rodiales, the Renfe local train to Barcelona. There's always a few locomotives hanging around here, which is quite interesting. Meanwhile, the train from Barcelona had arrived at the Renfe platform, but I think people had missed their connection. I love Port Bou station, built in 1929 for an international exhibition in Barcelona. And there goes the train to Cerbere, which might connect with the SNCF train that departed 2 minutes ago. And that's the Renfe train heading for Cerbere. Rodiales being Catalan for suburban train. I do admire the roof here, it's really nice. And there's a train to Barcelona, and they seem to be checking the papers of people. Sadly, the station buffet is now closed. It used to be a very large buffet which did good meals while people were waiting for their connections. Quite a grand waiting room as well. That plaque tells us that we're 30.8 metres above sea level. You get an idea of the height of the station from the steps down to the village. And this street used to be full of busy shops, people spending their money between trains. My favourite hotel in Port Bou has to be this one. I stayed here with my mother a few years ago, and I love the tree that grows through the building. And from the hotel terrace, of course, you get a good view of the bay and the beach. And from the promenade, you get a good view of the road, which zigzags up to the border with France. This is the way to cross the railway, a rather spooky looking tunnel. You are allowed to walk through the tunnel, so here we go, taking my life into my own hands. See you the other side, hopefully. That's the entrance I came in, and you can see daylight the other side. Yeah, daylight approaching. Just turn round. And there's the tunnel. It's quite exciting walking through once you've got used to the idea. The other side of the wall is the riverbed, just in case you're wondering. And there's another view from the hillside of the railway station and the freight yards. And you can see also there the tunnel through which I've just come with the adjoining football ground. No dogs permitted, I noticed. And there's a panoramic view of the beautiful station and the beautiful Mediterranean Sea. And I can't help noticing over there lots of spare wheels, quite useful. And a close-up, Cerbere in France, Col de Belitres, under which is the tunnel, and Port Bou in Spain. Port Bou in Spain, the hill with the railway tunnel, Cerbere in France, and over there, Banyuls in France, where my van is parked next to the train station. And over there you can see Cerbere, which I've climbed a few times. And over there, Pic Naulus and Pic de Canigou. View from the Col de Belitres towards Port Bou. And in the other direction, the change in tarmac shows when you go from Spain into France. Cerbere station from the Col de Belitres. And finally, a walk back down the ridge took me to Banyuls-sur-Mer. Thank you very much. And if you've enjoyed the film and would like to reward me with a coffee, please see the link here to Ko-fi. Thank you.